on John Morant anymore. I don't want him to have. We've already got plenty. So when John Morant's a superstar in about 5 years, we'll cut this out and we'll.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We'll send it to JJ.
But we're going to do the same thing when he's a bust. When he's taking number 3 overall and he's a bust.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, but that's not going to happen.
Exactly.
Anyways, that's all we got for the tournament. We're going to take a quick break, regroup, and come back with some baseball news. Welcome back. Yes, over the break, JJ kept arguing about John Morant, but that conversation's over. We're on to baseball now. Stop it. We're on to baseball. And I'm sure everybody saw that Mike Trout signed a 12-year, bajillion-dollar contract to stay with the LA Angels. So, he's not going to the Phillies. A lot of people thought he would.
Deserves every penny of it.
He deserves more.
And more.
He deserves, ownership stake of the Angels. They should give him, a percent of the team because he's carried the Angels for years. Mike Trout is the best player in baseball. Best player of our generation.
He will be the best player to ever play baseball.
Here you go, Producer Bill. I'll ask you this because I asked JJ off air. So, Mike Trout was drafted in 2009. Do you know who has the highest WAR, which is wins above replacement, in baseball since 2009?
I have no clue.
It is Mike Trout. Do you know he came up with the Angels in 2011, started playing baseball full-time in 2012, so he didn't make it to the majors till 2011. And he has a higher WAR than every player in baseball that's full-time since 2009. He took 2 years off, basically. And he has a higher WAR.
You see why he got the contract?
Yeah, definitely the best player. If you take
shows up for work.
He's ridiculous. Yeah, Mike Trout's contract is $430 million over that 12 years. That's $35 million, $36 million a year. If you average that out, it's about $2 to $3 million a month, $746,000 a week, $106,000 a day. A little more than about $4,443 an hour, $74 a minute, or a nice $1.23 per second. And I saw something they projected how many at bats he may get, and if they were to be right, it's every at bat he makes about 70-something thousand, which is higher than the median average or median income of a family in the LA Anaheim area. So it's pretty remarkable that he's just gonna make 70,000 every at bat.
That's showing up for work.
It's a lot of money for a baseball player. Definitely the best of our generation.
Definitely clocking in on time.
Yeah, Mike Trout, he could end up being he's going to end up being profiting a lot. He's not the MLB doesn't market him a whole lot. We talked about that a few weeks ago. Would you know if you were next to Mike Trout? And I'm fine with him being a very low-key guy. Obviously he's working for him. Very low demeanor.
And he's skipping his lunch breaks and staying clocked in and doing that extra time.
It's just, I think Mike Trout is a very good player. He definitely shows up to work every day.
Got that overtime going.
I'm
a fan of him. He's definitely a fan favorite.
Yeah, moving on to a team that we're both fans of, the Atlanta Braves.
Oh!
I'm a Pirates fan.
Finish it if you're going to do it. If you're going to do it, you can't leave the podcast on.
Oh!
Whoa. Come on. Do it. Okay, fine. We'll just go on. We'll just get into it. We have the Braves. Big year. They didn't make a whole lot of moves unless you count. Josh Donaldson's a big move. I would like to say that if he's healthy, that's a huge move. That guy's, look at the back of his baseball card. He's a star if he's healthy. He's getting up in age, obviously, but he seems like a perfect fit. Maybe a perfect veteran presence, alongside the great Nick Markakis. So, I think Donaldson will be fine with the Braves. They signed McCann. He'll platoon with Flowers. What do you think about the Braves this year?
I think the Braves could be very good, but the problem is the whole NL East is going to be good, except for the Marlins. I don't see them making the playoffs this year just because of the Phillies and the Mets, but
I'm afraid
I think they're in the right.
I think we'll start off kind of maybe in a hole. I'm kind of worried because of the fact that the pitchers are kind of injured. Just like we're starting Bryce Wilson in Colorado, who could be very good, but Bolte's going to start out on the injured list. It's no longer the DL anymore. I think it's the injured list is what they're calling it now.
Yeah.
It's basically the DL. Same
Great
thing.
name for it.
And Kevin Gossman also has elbow issues, so we're going to have them on the injured list to start the year. So we're going to be young pitching. Their bullpen, you're basically asking them to improve. And, of course, you're asking a lot of Acuna and Ozzie Albies to basically take that next step. And prospects in baseball, their growth isn't always linear. So that's always kind of worried. Eventually, teams are going to find something that's wrong with their swing. So that kind of does worry me. I do think the lineup would be fine. I just hope the pitching holds up over 162 season.
I think they have a really good lineup. I really do. I believe that. But I don't think the pitching is there, like you said. I think the pitching is going to struggle like it has been for the past few years.
I mean, a pitcher I would really like to see, I think either Newcomb is either going to take that next step. If he can learn to stop walking people, he's either going to become a stud in the lineup or he's always going to be that fourth or fifth guy, maybe even or maybe he just turns into a bullpen guy. If you can, I mean, his stuff is kind of nasty. If you can learn to harness it for an inning at a time, I mean, he may be a pretty good bullpen piece. But he could also, if he could learn to control his pitches, like and stop walking people, that's really his biggest issue in Major League Baseball so far is the fact that he walks too many people. If he learns to do that, he could be a stud.
I think Fried will be okay.
Yeah, Fried, that's one of the prospects I'm big on. He just gets like the weirdest injuries. He gets so many blisters, and it's just like it keeps him out. Like, if he could stay out of injury trouble, I think he could legit be a great player. And the Braves have a bunch of pitching prospects. You have Kyle Wright and Ian Anderson. You have Tukey,
Bryce Wilson,
Kyle Muller. There's a lot more that I'm not naming here that I could go on and on. Even Gohara, who's kind of a forgotten guy just because he had a terrible 2018. I mean, he had a lot of personal issues. The Braves have an abundance of pitching prospects, so they can probably plug and find a somewhat serviceable starter for this year, and hopefully maybe the next ace of baseball. I mean, I did see something where Kyle Wright was born in October of 1995, and the last time the Braves won a World Series was October 1995. So Kyle Wright is the chosen one to leave the Braves into the new era.
Hey, I'm good with it.
I would love it as well because I just want to see a championship in Atlanta. That would be amazing.
Of some sort.
Yes.
Except for Super Bowl.
Soccer. We have. Hey, listen, Atlanta United, man.
They broke the Georgia curse.
They did. It's over. The Braves, the Falcons, the Hawks, Trae Young's can lead all Atlanta sports to a championship in the next few years. But talking Braves baseball, do you have not just a prediction, a bold prediction? Like
for the Braves?
Let's give it a bold prediction, something crazy. Like that could happen, but like it wouldn't be like just a normal. Like it would like shock people.
Okay. Acuna wins MVP, and the Braves have the best record in NL.
In the entire NL, if I have a bold prediction, and I know you're going to hate this, I have Dansby Swanson as a 4-WAR player, and will be rated as one of the top shortstops in the National League, maybe even all baseball, because I believe his wrist is healthy. He is going to hit well this year, and he's a great defensive shortstop. So if he just learns to hit the ball well,
that's not going to happen.
He's going to be a 4-WAR guy. Let's get him in the All-Star game. Dansby, he has the best hair in baseball. Him and Charlie Culberson, who look a lot alike, but that's one of my bold. I mean, he could his wrist is fine. He may hit 15 home runs. I mean, that'd be a really solid year. And then of course, I mean, I don't know if this is bold, but Josh Donaldson's healthy, and he's the Josh Donaldson old. Johan Camargo can maybe be the perfect utility guy, maybe that Marlon Gonzalez type player where he plays like 7 different positions and like basically a starter, but he doesn't have one position. I do think the Braves, it could be a rough year. I mean, a couple years ago, something similar happened to the Astros where they missed the playoffs. I mean, they kind of were ahead of schedule, made the playoffs. The next year, everybody was thinking, are they going to do it again? They missed the playoffs, and then, of course, the next year, they started becoming that championship team that we know of. Like, we know the Astros are a championship contender now, and like they started that run. And a lot of people are comparing the Braves to the Astros because they had several years of really bad losing records. The Astros, I think, lost like 100 games in 3 straight years. So, I mean, it is a nice comparison. Let's hope these players turn into George Springer and Jose Altuve. I mean, Ozzy's compared to Altuve a lot. So, I mean, that's something I would like to see. I know one thing I'm a little upset about maybe for the Braves lineup is I kind of would like to see Ronald Acuna hit leadoff, and they're looking like he's probably going to drop down the cleanup spot. I mean, it's not like a terrible thing. But I am maybe of the opinion the group that I would like to see my best young player get the most plate appearances possible, and you're going to get that leadoff spot. Because after you start the game, you're not really the leadoff hitter anymore. It's just your time in the order.
Exactly.
And yes, people argue, okay, now you got the pitcher ahead of them, but I mean, later in the game, you can double switch, you can pinch hit. But I mean, Acuna has the ability to put the ball in the gap or over the fence. He can literally hit 30-something home runs this year. So
I would love to see it.
I mean, I would too. I want him to continue on. He's a young player, and I don't know, maybe, we joke about the Braves didn't spend a lot of money. They're saving that financial flexibility. Maybe it's to offer him a long-term contract, very early so we can lock him up. I mean, I hope Acuna's a Brave forever if he's the way he's projecting. I hope he's a Brave forever. But the thing also that worries me, like you mentioned, the NL East is better as a whole. The Philadelphia Phillies got a lot better. Bryce Harper is now a Philly. JT Realmuto's a Philly. The Nationals, even though they lost Bryce Harper, I mean, they're still going to be just fine. If Juan Soto keeps doing what he's doing, I mean, he also, by the way, has the best nickname in probably baseball right now, the Childish Bambino. That's one of my favorite nicknames in baseball right now, the Childish Bambino, because they think he could be a stud as well. And then, of course, Victor Robles has been a heralded prospect for him for a while. When they needed an outfielder last year, he was hurt, so Soto got the opportunity. And Robles now is going to get an opportunity to play, most likely, with Harper gone. So if Robles is as good as everybody thinks he is, and they also signed Patrick Corbin to be an ace, their pitching staff's ridiculous. I mean, they have Strasburg and Scherzer and Corbin.
Strasburg is overrated.
Even if he's overrated, he's still a number 2 or 3 pitcher in a rotation. You're not.
Oh yeah, but
I mean, still a crazy pitching lineup. And then that moves us, to the other competing team in the NL East, the Mets, who have, if they're healthy, which has been the biggest issue with the Mets, because the Mets have the weirdest injuries in the world. Like, the weirdest situations pop up in New York. I don't understand it. They're cursed. But when you have a pitching rotation that consists of Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, Zach Wheeler, and Steven Matz, I mean, that's 3 aces definitely. Matz could end up being an ace. I mean, that's crazy.
I think they have the best lineup, and they have the best roster, period.
I honestly think if they could just find a way to be a slightly above average offensive team, I mean, that might be all they need. Because if their pitching staff's working the way it can, you might not score a whole lot of runs on them.
Exactly.
And that was the issue with him last year. I mean, DeGrom, while he never beat the Braves, he had it was like a sub-1 ERA against them. The Braves are beating him like 1-0.
Yeah.
Getting him out of the game early, in the 7th, 8th inning, then scoring. So, I mean, with that pitching staff, it could be hard to score. And, I mean, last year, after July, the Mets actually, we had a lot of jokes about the Mets last year because they were abysmal and a lot of funny storylines. But after July 1st, the New York Mets had the best record in the NL East. Not the Braves, not the Phillies, not the Nationals. The New York Mets.
Who do you think will win the NL East?
I want the Braves to win it, but if I had to pick right now, I'm going to go the Phillies.
Who do you think will win the NL Central?
Now, that's a division that, honestly, you could pick any 5 team and you can make a strong argument for. I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
And the NL West?
Oh, the Dodgers have too much depth.
Okay. And let's switch over to the American League, AL East.
Yankees. I think the Red Sox bullpen's too bad. Unless they find an answer, maybe they re-sign Kimbrel, they can figure it out. Right now, I'm going the Yankees because I think they have a more complete team.
The AL Central.
It's just the Indians, as long as Jose Ramirez is healthy. He had a foul ball off his knee. I hope he's healthy because I drafted him in a fantasy baseball league. But if he's healthy, maybe the Twins challenge him. But, I mean, the Tigers and the Royals are not going to do anything. So, I mean,
AL West.
Astros, easily. And then if I had to pick the wild cards for each division, I'm going to go NL. I'm going to give the Brewers a wild card. And then I'm going to go down between... Oh, man, it could be any of the NL. There's so many teams. I'm going to say it comes down to the Mets and Braves. So, yes, the Cubs will miss the playoffs. I'm calling it now. I'm going to give it to the Braves just because I'm a homer. And it may not work out. But we're going to go NL with the Phillies, Cardinals, and Dodgers winning the division with the Brewers and Braves getting the wild card. And then the AL, I'll go Yankees, Indians, Stros winning their respective divisions. I'll give the Red Sox a wild card, and I'm going to say Mike Trout, the new contract, he's going to push the Angels into the playoffs. And if you want a World Series prediction, I mean, I'll give it to you right now. I'm going to say the Astros beat the LA Dodgers. We're going to have a rematch.
So you think the Dodgers are going to go back?
No, they have so much depth. It's hard to pick against them.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want to pick the Cardinals. I don't think the Phillies will get there. I think I kind of want to pick the Cardinals or Brewers, to be honest with you. I don't think the Braves, it's their year necessarily to be a champ. I think they're going to be contending, but I don't think it's time for them to be a championship team. The Dodgers have so much depth, and they do so many things right. And, I mean, they have a good pitching staff. If Kershaw can figure it out, I know he's hurt, but he's still Kershaw. I know he struggled in the postseason, but it's still Kershaw. But you have Bueller, and you have so many other great pitchers there. And they'll have the money to make a move if they want to. But I think the Astros win it this year. I'm going to go with the Astros winning the World Series this year.
All right, my pick.
So now it's your turn. I'll ask you.
For the NL East, I would go with the Phillies.
Okay, what about the Central?
I'm gonna say the Brewers.